Come to find out, there was probably close to around 20 people in our church who had gotten this text message.
A common scam with a twist tonight. Scammers are preying on parishioners. We've got your back with the red flags to look out for. A Wild West crime not going away anytime soon. A cattle rustling case just opened up in the city. This time, children are involved. We're going to show you who deputies are looking for tonight.
Get your hands up now! Hit!
New video tonight showing the moments after a man fired shots on the freeway, how this roadside shootout ends. The news starts now. Not one, but 3 Oklahoma churches say they have been targeted by cell phone scammers. In all 3 cases, someone is pretending to be the pastor of the church and asking members of the congregation for money.
Fox 25's McKenna Eubank is live in Guthrie tonight. She's got your back with how you can keep an eye out for scams like this one. McKenna?
Yeah, well, Mike and Wendy, several members of the congregation here at the First Christian Church in Guthrie say they got this text from someone saying that it was the church pastor. Luckily, the people knew something just wasn't quite right.
We started getting phone calls and texts, or I did, and the church did, saying, hey, did Ronnie send this weird message from a number that isn't his?
Guthrie churches used as a tool for scammers. A text sent out to members of the congregation from someone claiming to be the church pastor.
They would say, hey, this is, again, still pretending to be me. I'm in a meeting. I met with this person and they have cancer. Can you get me some gift cards and I'll pay you back later?
The gift cards requested were for a video game platform company called Steam. Ronnie Fields, the Reverend at First Christian Church, says he doesn't know how the scammer got his information or how they got the cell phone numbers for others.
Come to find out, there was probably close to around 20 people in our church who had gotten this text message.
What's worse, at least 2 other churches in town were also targeted.
As the story kind of progressed, we also realized that there were at least 2 other ministers in town that the same thing was happening to them.
Just a few doors down from First Christian Church, First Southern Baptist Church was targeted, and south of town, the Community Church.
These are smart people. Encourage people to use their gifts and their talents for good and not to take advantage of good people.
Now, Field says in some of those texts, his name was actually spelled wrong. And that's one thing that you can look out for if you get a text that might be suspicious. You should also always call the person and verify that that text was from them before you send out any money. Back to you.
McKenna, thank you. The pastors of the churches have reported this to police. And if you get a text like this, call law enforcement.
An oil operator is now stopping operations in the Kingfisher area following a series of small earthquakes. The Corporation Commission says that they held a meeting with that company, Newfield in Kana, this morning, and they came to the agreement to stop activity. This is after a magnitude 3.2 and a 3.9 earthquake hit the area in less than 12 hours.
Oklahoma County deputies are searching right now for a man and woman who stole 13 cows, 13 calves, and a bull. It happened near Northeast 150th and Luther Road. Deputies say they had 2 children with them at the time. These are the last pictures taken of them from a trail camera before it was disconnected and stolen. If you have any information on who they are, call the sheriff's office. Cattle rustling is a Wild West crime that continues to be an issue in Oklahoma, and we've had your back reporting on this several times. Not only do sheriff's deputies and police investigate these types of crimes, but the State Department of Agriculture has an 8-member team that investigates around 1,500 missing cattle cases a year.
My unit alone, just last year in the year of 2018, we just closed out. We'll recover between $4 and $5 million worth of stolen equipment and cattle every year. That's just my guys by themselves.
We've got your back tonight with what you can do to protect your cattle from theft. Oklahoma doesn't require ranchers to brand their livestock, but it's the best way to find them if they do go missing. You should also check your fence line regularly and make sure all gates are locked when you're away. You need to do regular head counts, but switch up the times that you do it.
New video tonight showing officers confront a man shooting a gun at traffic on I-35. Police shot and killed 24-year-old Vincent Dwayne Williams last month after he refused to put his gun down and threatened the officers.
Fox 25's Jennifer Falsetti has been reviewing this video. She's here now to break it down for us. What does it show, Jen?
Well, this whole encounter is all but maybe 2 minutes long, so it was very quick when it happened. Now, the moment police pull up to Williams on I-35, it turns into a shootout, eventually leading up to dozens of fired shots and Williams being shot and killed. Multiple shots fired by police, killing 24-year-old Vincenz Dwayne Williams, the man walking along I-35 in northeast Oklahoma City shooting at passing vehicles. New video released by Oklahoma City police show the moments leading up to Williams' death.
Hands up! He's dropped the gun. He's got his hands up. Get on the ground!
Police yell for Williams to drop his weapon. But it's when he does not comply with their demands, they take action.
Shots fired. He grabbed the gun. Shots fired. Get on the ground! Get your hands up now! Head!
That's when we hear Williams fire at police.
Take cover! Let's go, let's go!
Officers then rush over to give aid, but it's too late.
Roll him over. He's down. He's down. He's down. Suspect's down. Sergeant himself. All right, he's breathing. Let's render first aid.
Williams later died of his injuries. No drivers on I-35 were injured in that incident. Now, both officers involved were cleared of any wrongdoing, and the district attorney determined the shooting was justified. Mike?
Jennifer, thank you. Fox 25 spoke with Williams and after the shooting. Teresa Williams says that he was struggling with the loss of both parents, and moments before the shooting, his dog was hit by a car.
New numbers tonight on how much money has been given out in disaster assistance from spring storms. Funds from FEMA, the Small Business Administration, and National Flood Insurance Program now closing in on $64 million. $11 million covers housing assistance, $24 million for flooding, and $25 million for low-interest disaster loans. You can still register with FEMA to get the ball rolling on getting assistance. We've got your back with that information on okcfox.com.
Now, your Fox 25 Storm Watch forecast from the Reynolds Ford Weather Center.
In general, our forecast has been drying out. Haven't seen a lot of rain, but there is one part of the state that's seeing some showers and thunderstorms this evening. It's the Panhandle, and these showers are weakening, and we are not going to see these showers holding on into the metro, but we might see a sprinkle or two far western Oklahoma, but those chances not looking really good. Those storms are really just completely falling apart. This morning was chilly. Now, we didn't break a record, but we were in the low 60s here in most of the metro, some spots in the upper 50s. Similar cool temperatures tonight. I think we're going to be into the mid 60s, actually a little warmer than last night, but that record will be a little warmer than last night. So we're likely going to be a degree or two away from our record low set back in 2004. Then after that, looking warmer in the afternoon. After that cool start, we see temperatures into the upper 80s tomorrow afternoon. That heat gets back above average over the weekend, and humidity creeps back into the forecast as well. We'll talk about that coming up.
The CDC reports an estimated 20 million Americans suffer from debilitating chronic pain, and many of them turn to pain medication to be able to work or simply go through their daily activities.
But as doctors cut back on prescribing opioids, chronic pain patients may sink into despair, even commit suicide. In tonight's Addicted Oklahoma, Fox 25's Caroline Vandergrift's got your back with a look at the unintended victims of this opioid crackdown. Caroline.
That's right. Just this year, federal health officials acknowledged that many physicians' responses to the opioid crisis went too far. Those who suffer from chronic pain say they're still dealing with the fallout.
I've attempted suicide 3 times because of the pain.
With arthritis, neuropathy, and an amputated foot, this Oklahoma man says every day is a struggle. He wanted to share a story with us, but stay anonymous. The Army veteran says he takes about 3,500 pain pills a year.
Without that, I wouldn't function at all. I couldn't get out of bed. I'd be in so much pain.
In recent years, he says his doctors at the VA have been trying to slash his prescription.
I don't abuse my pain meds. I don't doctor shop. I take my meds as prescribed. But I know for a fact that the doctors are being pressured into getting us off of pain meds.
Dr. Stephen Blake Kelly at the Oklahoma Pain Center says many doctors are now scared to prescribe opioids.
They don't want to be considered a bad doctor or live in fear that their medical license is going to be taken away or they're going to be investigated.
He thinks federal measures to cut opioid prescribing and slow the overdose epidemic overlooked chronic pain patients.
I don't hear anyone address that patients are being left out of the equation. It's almost as if the patient in chronic pain or on opioids is an addict.
In April, the FDA warned about reports of serious harm from rapidly reducing pain pills for opioid-dependent patients, like withdrawal, psychological distress, and suicide.
We already have 22 veterans a day killing themselves. That's going to skyrocket if this trajectory continues.
This veteran says it will be his only option if his physicians continue to cut down on his pain pills.
Let the doctors treat their patients instead of the DEA and bureaucrats and politicians treat the patients. Let the doctors treat the patients.
The CDC applauds efforts from healthcare providers to reduce opioid misuse and overdose, but says many physicians applied the agency's 2016 prescribing guidelines incorrectly. The CDC says it does not support abrupt tapering or sudden discontinuation of opioids. The agency plans to update and expand the guidelines with new research. Mike?
Caroline, thank you. We are learning new details tonight about Scissortail Park's grand opening. Here's a live look over downtown Oklahoma City for you right now. Looks beautiful. Now, the new park will open here on September 27th, kicking off with a free Kings of Leon concert. And the Oklahoman is reporting that concertgoers will be able to carry guns to that concert. The park is a municipal park, meaning state law requires licensed gun owners be allowed to carry their weapons onto park property. This applies to open and concealed carry. Plans for the concert include building a fence around the park with about a dozen entrances staffed by security. If elevators freak you out, this fact will be even more unsettling for you. 15,000 code violations have been recorded over the last year and a half across Oklahoma.
We've got your back with what's being done to make sure they're safe. Next.
Plus, we now know how money will be doled out for farming relief from Chinese tariffs. We've got your back with how to apply for assistance and if you even qualify. Coming up next.
Let's turn now to the top 5 trending stories on our website tonight, okcfox.com. Time is running out for Oklahoma City landfills, and more recycling could actually help. The landfills in OKC only have another 20 to 30 years left. If something isn't recycled or it's recycled incorrectly, it will end up in a landfill. Right now, only 40% of people are participating in recycling with the city. Testimony in an Arizona trial is painting a graphic picture of a horror story. Buckets of body parts and heads, genitalia, and other body parts sewn together and hung up on walls. That's what the FBI says they found after raiding a body donation center in 2014. Are you owed money for the Equifax data breach? The company agreed to a $425 million settlement earlier this week for the 147 million people affected. You can file a claim for either a cash payment or up to 10 years of credit monitoring or identity theft protection. We guide you through the whole process on our website. A college student made this discovery of a lifetime in the Badlands of North Dakota, finding this Triceratops skull. It is 65 million years old. The student believes more bones will be found at that dig site. A zombie chicken or something even scarier. Ugh, this video is the #1 trending story on our website tonight, showing a piece of raw chicken crawl from a plate and fall onto the floor of a restaurant. It is unclear where this video was taken. To read more about these top trending stories, and I know you want to watch that video again, just head to our website, okcfox.com.
Well, have you ever taken a ride on an elevator that didn't quite just feel right? Elevators and escalators everywhere, from hotels to schools and hospitals all across the metro, racked up thousands of code violations in the past year and a half.
Fox 25's Connor Hansen got a hold of the records. He's got your back tonight, breaking down the findings.
This video, taken a few years ago, shows workers helping people out of an elevator stuck between floors. That was in the Oklahoma County Courthouse. Inspectors have found 25 elevator violations in the Oklahoma County building in the past year.
What activates it's that bar coming
Oklahoma
up.
City inspectors took us along for a visit to Will Rogers Airport to get a behind-the-scenes look at one of their escalator and elevator tests.
It's got a switch here, turns the escalator off.
Step by step, inspectors check on different sensors. They're things you probably don't think about, but stop shoes, sandals, or even fingers from being sucked into an escalator.
Zippers, shoes, flip-flops, scarves, clothing items, keys.
These are all things they've found underneath the escalator. During elevator inspections, routine violations are common. Across the state, hundreds of elevator owners have been written up for things like misplaced ceiling tiles or for not cleaning out dirt and debris. But since the beginning of 2018, 4 different elevators in the metro area have been cited for problems with their braking systems.
It's the brakes in the system itself that keep the elevator from falling, and when you get a braking system that fails, that's when it's most severe.
Records show elevators at both the University of Oklahoma and the OU Health Sciences Center had missing parts from their brake systems. Inspectors say they were bad enough to shut them down until they could be repaired. They say in other buildings they've run into anything from frayed cables to doors that close too quickly. Oklahoma City's inspection superintendent Mike Miller says they're the only city in the state that has its own inspectors.
It really is a very important job, and it's not one that the city of Oklahoma City feels comfortable with letting go to someone else to do that work.
It also keeps its own records. The city couldn't show us thousands of its elevator and escalator records since they're all kept on paper. City workers are in the process of scanning them into the system.
And we've got just about completely caught up with all the commercial plans and all the residential plans, and now we're down to elevators, and elevators will be the next thing that will be getting scanned in and added to the system.
And here's a couple of other things that we learned from those inspectors. If you've ever walked down a stopped escalator, they say that can actually be dangerous and wear down the brake system. Inspectors also say Crocs are the worst thing that you can wear on an escalator because they can easily be sucked under.
It's been years in the making. The new James Vance Bridge connecting Lexington to Purcell will officially open tomorrow. People can walk on the new bridge tomorrow morning starting at 9 before the ribbon cutting ceremony. The new bridge replaces an 80-year-old structurally deficient bridge that was closed down for several months in 2014 after several cracks were found. The new 4-lane bridge will also contain bike paths and walking paths.
We've got your back with an update on construction on I-40 near Choctaw Road. Westbound I-40 off-ramps have shifted, and you can expect the ramp exit to be earlier than before, now near Choctaw Road. The ramps will be like that for the remainder of the construction project.
The USDA is revealing new details on what all is included in a $16 billion package to help farmers, while the administration works on trade deals with China. We've got your back tonight with how you can get some help. Farmers can sign up for the assistance program at local Farm Service Agency offices starting on Monday. This runs through the beginning of December. Payments will be made to FSAs and will go to producers of alfalfa, hay, barley, canola, rapeseed, and more. County payment rates will range from $15 to $150 an acre, depending on the impact of trade retaliation on farmers. Certain dairy and hog farmers will also be eligible for assistance.
More parents are being distracted by technology, and it's harming kids more than you might know. We're looking into the long-term effects tonight.
And a barbershop owner giving back to the community, why location is key for this shop, coming up next.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
A new barbershop is all the buzz in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Fox 25's Jasmine Anderson explains why the barbershop's location is part of the reason it's tonight's community focus.
These guys are up to the challenge of cutting big hair.
Coley Handspike has had the same barber for years in Georgia.
Mr. Payton been cutting my hair ever since I was 2 years old.
The Atlanta native says he moved back to Oklahoma City after a series of life trials, losing his mother and getting in a car accident. But Handspike says the barbershop has always been a place of healing.
This is where we come down and lay all the laws down on what's going on at home or what's going on in our lives.
And sworn secrecy.
You want to feel like you're at home. And at the barbershop, what come in the barbershop stays at the barbershop. That's one thing about the barbershop.
But Rooted Barbershop is bringing new meaning to Handspike's experience. And it begins with this list of names.
What do you want to say? Right down the neck on the jawline. Okay.
Bruce Wade is the owner of Rooted Barbershop. He's best known for his mobile barbershop, the first in the state, and cutting-edge way of giving back.
When we got en route off the ground, that was like really an exciting time to bring the mobile barbershop down here. And it kind of evolved into this because we have some different plans.
Plans that would lead to a full-service barbershop inside the Homeless Alliance shelter, providing free haircuts for those in need by the Hair Collaborative, a group of volunteers that will staff the space weekly.
It's going to boost, the morale of how they feel.
It's going to boost my self-esteem, it's going to make me feel better about myself.
And a sense of trust. You can see that Mr. Handspike is loving his fresh cut. Jasmine Anderson.
These guys right here, they are just like bartenders. Hey, they just keep feeding their head and we just keep talking.
Fox 25 News.
All right, now they still need volunteers to cut hair, so if you are a licensed barber or stylist, we have information on our website on how you can sign up for a shift. This collaboration is powered by Bob Moore Subaru.
Very cool. Tickets for the State Fair on sale right now, despite the fair being more than a month away. Now we've got your back with a way you can get some discounts.
And two companies teaming up to raise awareness for breast cancer. We're going to show you their mission coming up.
Seven months into 2019, and there are likely close to 3,000 new cases of breast cancer in Oklahoma. The American Cancer Society also estimates 540 women in our state have died from the disease so far this year.
And that's why two metro companies have come together to raise awareness and funds for breast cancer. Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff has got your back with more on this unique effort. Caroline.
Well, you can't walk around Bricktown on the weekends without spotting horse-drawn carriages. Instead of just giving people rides, two competing carriage businesses have teamed up to give back. Watch out, Oklahoma City.
Here it is.
There's a new carriage in town.
Well, it's pink, so it shows up pretty easy here.
Pink wheels, pink leather seats, and even pink hoofs.
Just to bring awareness more to breast cancer.
Dwayne Sexton owns Cowboy Carriage, and his buddy Bradley Llewellyn runs Cameo Carriage.
We've been friends for several years.
They decided to join forces to help fight breast cancer.
All right, Pearl, step up. My mom had breast cancer. A good friend of mine now has breast cancer. They say she's in remission, and the whole world's been pretty good to me for the last few years. I thought, time to pay back.
They'll give free rides to breast cancer survivors, those who are still battling the disease, and their families.
It's very sad. It's very heartbreaking, and we just try to do something to help make spirits a little better.
25% of the proceeds from the other rides in the pink carriage will be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. The carriage certainly turns heads.
It's a one of a kind, so everybody's just kind of like in an awe stage, and they think it's a great idea.
This duo hopes all the attention will bring in money for the cause.
Every little bit that we raise, I feel like it helps with the studies to maybe someday cure it.
Getting one step closer to a world without breast cancer. And you can catch a ride on the Breast Cancer Awareness Carriage this weekend. It will be in Bricktown starting at 7:30 Saturday night. Again, those who are currently fighting breast cancer, survivors, and their family members all ride free.
Caroline, thank you. Right now, the owners are looking for sponsors to help cover the costs of the custom-built carriage, fuel, feed, and time taken to provide those free rides. A portion of the sponsorship fees will be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. If you're interested, we have information on our website okcfox.com.
It has been hot. This summer we were 100 degrees on Sunday. It's been cool, relatively, ever since. Now today it didn't quite make it up to 90 degrees. We were 87. Oklahoma City a few degrees away from our early morning record lows. We were in the low 60s this morning. Similar kind of night tonight. We have a mostly clear sky, relatively dry air. Expect to see temperatures getting into those low 60s and mid 60s again tonight. Should be in the mid 60s in the metro, currently at 74 degrees, about 75 in Clinton. Now, our rain showers are weakening. We're not seeing very much in the way of severe storms here, but these showers and storms are going to gradually kind of just fizzle out in the next 2 to 3 hours, and maybe a sprinkle or two holds on into the panhandle this evening. But dry weather expected to continue for us here in central Oklahoma for at least a few more days. Now, our temperatures in the morning, again, close to those records. Chilly in the 60s. Some of those outskirts could be into the upper 50s early in the morning. Then tomorrow's highs very similar to today. It looks like upper 80s with temperatures maybe feeling just a touch higher than that, but really not much of a heat index to deal with over the next few. But the weekend will start to bring back higher heat, but also higher humidity, especially by Sunday. It's really going to start to feel sticky there. Our temperatures into the mid 90s could feel pretty close to 100 degrees by that time. You can see that humidity creeping up over the next few. However, early next week, there's going to be a cold front approaching the area. Doesn't look like it's going to completely pass through, but it may give us a few showers here and there. So the weather now, again, dominated by high pressure off to the west, a nice little flow coming in from the north, giving us the briefly cool air. The sunshine comes our way tomorrow. Sprinkles are possible again in the panhandles tomorrow evening. Front is going to be moving through at the end of the weekend, but rain very, very limited. A few showers and storms can't be ruled out, but it looks like a generally hot and dry forecast through the next 7 to 10 days and beyond, with temperatures gradually starting to get back into that really hot category. Around this time next week, we could be very close to 100-degree temperatures. Yet again, heat index values will be very high. Certainly going to be feeling like 100. Not much chance of rain. Again, only chance of rain in the next 7, coming on Monday at only 30%.
All right, Chip, thank you. It is Christmas in July for NFL fans. Fox 25's Daniel Dwyer is checking in on training camps tonight for pro teams.
Plus, with school year approaching, you'll need to make sure that your kids are not weighted down with work and backpacks. We've got your back with how you can save your kids back pain in the future. Coming up next. We've got your back tonight, preparing you for getting your kids ready to go back to school. Heavy textbooks, binders, and pencils are just some of the things that might be inside your child's backpack this school year. But carrying all that weight could actually hurt them. Now you need to really check how the bag is packed. Children should carry no more than 10 to 20% of their body weight. Heaviest items like books should be closest to the back, with lighter items like notebooks and pencil boxes up front. And make sure that your child is, of course, using both straps.
If he even starts walking, this is going to fall off. And in order to prevent it from falling off, he's going to have to lean a lot to his left to sort of hold that in place. And so that's why it's so important that you have both straps on. Let me see your arm, buddy. Good. And then he's evenly weighted again.
Now, if your child does develop back pain, have them rest and take a day or two off from physical activity. Get them to stretch and give them some ibuprofen. And if that pain persists for more than a period of weeks, you need to go see the doctor.
Most parents put a limit on how much screen time children get, but experts say adults need to remember to put down the iPad or cell phone too. We've got your back tonight explaining the safety and developmental dangers of distracted parenting. Melanie Barden reports from our sister station in Austin.
Every day I wake up and I am mom first.
You're good. Like most parents, Allison Mack's days are a juggling act.
And then second, switch into gears to working mama.
Her online business, Austin Moms, allows her to work from home with flexible hours, but requires her attention in front of a screen.
If I'm not online, then I'm not really working. But at the same time, it's also hard to turn off.
Every parent struggles with trying to be a very present parent and a good parent, and also feeling pulls from lots of different directions.
It's a challenge Shauna Crosby with the Austin Child Guidance Center sees all the time.
Technology can be really wonderful if it's used in moderation And if parents are able to be mindful of how it is being used and when it's being used.
She says while most parents limit their children's screen time, they don't always hold themselves to the same standard, and the consequences of distracted parenting could have lasting impacts.
And without that sort of face-to-face, one-on-one time, sometimes kids can have challenges about navigating peer relationships or interpersonal relationships.
Crosby recommends coming up with a technology use plan for the whole family. Setting aside designated screen-free time every day, and keeping in mind children are watching and mimicking what they see.
I can tell you that my 3-year-old little girl, she's got this fake little plastic cell phone and she sits there and just punches it away just like she sees mommy do.
Distracted parenting could be a safety danger as well. Detective Patrick Oborski with the Austin Police Department says he sees it often.
Whether it be texting or talking on the phone, we definitely do see a distraction with parents.
He says cell phones are often to blame for accidents at the playground, pool, or sidewalk, and especially on the road.
Just remember that you have your whole livelihood sitting in the back seat.
We should all do a better job of putting it down and spending more quality time.
For Allison, her family's safety and well-being is top priority and not something she's going to let screens get in the way of.
My family is a lot more important than any amount of work I have on my plate.
And that was Melanie Barden reporting from Austin. It's unlikely cell phones will stop being a part of the family life anytime soon. So experts say you can set an example for responsible tech use, like noticing when kids are trying to get your attention, being responsive to positive behaviors, and looking for important times in the day when to put that phone down and be focused and connect with your children.
Coming up in sports, Sam Presti addressing the media about all the trades that transpired the past couple weeks. Hear from him straight ahead. And the NFL season is officially upon us. 2 former Sooners in action today. Hear from Baker and Kyler next in sports.
In the 80s again tomorrow, but the heat cranking up over the weekend, back above 90 on Saturday, well into the 90s on Sunday, but feeling close to 100 degrees. That humidity going to be pretty intense through most of next week with maybe a shower on Monday.
Played 2 good years there, and it was a mutual thing between both of us that the time was up, and we both had ideas of doing things differently.
That was Paul George during yesterday's introduction with the Clippers. You heard PG-13 saying the trade was, quote, mutual between him and OKC, but Thunder GM Sam Presti not saying the same. Here's Fox 25 Sports Director Myron Patton with more from the Thunder.
Well, Danielle, what we thought was going to be a quiet summer obviously changed a few weeks back when the Thunder made some moves in trading guys like Russell Westbrook and Paul George, Jeremy Grant, and deals that totally made a total makeover for the squad. Now, yesterday, Paul George was introduced as a newest member of the Los Angeles Clippers, in which he said it's a mutual decision that both parties, team and himself, agreed it was time to move on. It was time to try something new after another first-round exit. That was obviously one of the first things that Sam Presti addressed today.
I know that he had used the term mutual. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that because that would infer that we were wanting to trade Paul George, which I think most people would agree that probably wasn't on the top of our off-season priority list. The reason that we were able to find a way to do it was because of what we were able to get back. I wouldn't say that we were going to appease the request simply because it was made, but more than anything, it was because of the fact that we were able to get the return that we did, which then allowed us to accommodate what he was looking for as well.
Now, Danielle, tomorrow, Russell Westbrook will be introduced as the newest member of the Houston Rockets. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say about his tenure here in Oklahoma City and, of course, what comes out of that. As far as the Thunder, believe it or not, the basketball is not that far away from bouncing. I can hear the September training camp whistles blowing before you know it. Reporting from the Thunder practice facility, Myron Patton, Fox 25 Sports.
All right, Myron, thanks. And it's Christmas in July for football fans. Plenty of training camps kicking off today ahead of the 2019 season. One of the teams all eyes are on, the Browns. The Browns kicking off training camp in Berea today. A year ago, former Sooner and Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield was embarking on his rookie season. Now, the newlywed QB is working with arguably the strongest receiving tandem in the league with OBJ and Jarvis Landry. Couple that with the backfield of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and first-year head coach Freddie Kitchens has quite the offensive recipe for success. Although expectations are running high, Mayfield says the Browns aren't getting caught up in all the hype.
We want guys to win. Like I said, we want guys that want to be here to work with each other, and the goal should absolutely be that high. But we know, and we have to emphasize that to get there, you have to take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and right now, it's training camp. You got to take it one day at a time. So just working on the little things right now just to get to that ultimate goal.
As for the other former Sooner and Heisman Trophy winner, Kyler Murray, he's gearing up for his first season in the NFL. The #1 overall draft pick has a chance at becoming the first rookie starter in Cardinals history since 1954, and he has a chance to do better than rookie QBs before him. If he passes for more than 2,500 yards, throws for more than 15 touchdowns, and helps the Cardinals to more than 4 wins, Murray will put his name in the Arizona record books. So the bar isn't set too high for him, but there are speculations of whether or not Cliff Kingsbury's air raid style offense will work in the league. Here's what Kyler had to say to the skeptics.
I don't see why everybody thinks that, it can't be successful. It's just like any other offense. It's an offense. We work at it, we practice it, and it's our job to execute it. If we don't, then it won't be successful. But if we do, like I said, I feel like, it works at the college level. I don't see why it couldn't work at the pro level. So it's our job to make people believe in that.
And the Cowboys boarding the plane for training camp today, but one player was missing from the mix, Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the plane to California is optional for players, but reports are saying Zeke has been considering a training camp holdout as his contract extension is negotiated. But there was no confirmation whether or not he would follow through. The former Ohio State running back has 2 years, $12.9 million left on his rookie deal, and he has until tomorrow morning to report to camp. Nothing like a little drama to start off the season as the countdown continues. Many will definitely be watching to see what unfolds in the next 24 hours. That's sports for now. More news and weather after the break.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Okay, the Oklahoma State Fair, a little more than a month away, but tickets are on sale right now.
And if you buy right now, you're going to get a big discount. We've got your back with the prices. Admission for adults is $8. For children, it's $4. If you purchase at the gate the day of, you're going to have to pay a couple bucks more. You can buy tickets online now for that discount price by going to okcfox.com. That is through September 11th. The fair opens Thursday, September 12th. Discounts are also available now on armbands and Disney on Ice.
The Oklahoma City Animal Welfare Center's Storm the Shelter special is going on for real this weekend. Last week, they posted these pictures of dogs and cats dressed up in tinfoil hats to go along with the Storm Area 51 viral post. Well, this Saturday, all fees will be waived for cat and dog adoptions.
Yesterday, we told you about this man, a French inventor who planned to fly across the English Channel on a jet board, which is like a jetpack and hoverboard combined. Well, he didn't quite make it. He was forced to turn back about halfway over the channel after failing to land to refuel. The waves rocking a boat following him made it impossible for Zapata to land, causing him to crash into the water. Good news, though, he was not injured.
We kind of guessed that was happening, though. We thought
saw that one coming.
Yeah. Okay, everyone look closely at this video right here. It has a lot of people talking. Danielle, focus.
Focus, Danielle.
Look,
Oh my
right
gosh,
off the
no!
table. A Florida
What is
woman
that?
recorded video of raw chicken crawling off of her plate and falling to the floor. It's not clear where the video was taken, but take a look right there. Is it real?
Gosh.
Is it fake?
I know.
What do you think, huh? Some people say
Please.
fake, but
There's a reason I
Please tell
don't
me it's
handle
fake.
raw chicken, and
Yeah?
it's right there. This
Okay.
reaffirms
Oh
my
my gosh.
fear of raw
Yeah.
meat.
no, not for you.
No,
She
not
wants to
for
watch
me.
it again on
No,
a break.
it's cringeworthy. That was
Yeah, that's
cringeworthy. Yes.
good
Oh my
stuff.
gosh.
We're going vegetarian, right?
I'm
Good plan.
almost there at this point. And that video might have just Sealed the deal for me. Yep.
I think it's fake, though.
Okay, you're going with fake.
fake?
See,
pretty
he's the
sure it's
scientist
fake.
among us, so
Yes.
Chip might know what he's talking about.
I'm not positive, but it looks fake.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk. Well,
Okay, one more time.
I mean, it looks real, but I mean, it has to be fake, doesn't
Right.
it?
It's like
Animals don't come back to
running
life.
away.
It just doesn't
Help
happen.
me.
All right.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Late Edition.
Not one, but 3 Guthrie churches now being targeted by scammers.
Ministers say someone is texting members of their congregation pretending to be them. Now, in some cases, the scammers are saying they just met with someone who has cancer and they need the potential victim to buy gift cards for them. But the gift cards they're asking for are for a video game company.
As the story kind of progressed, we also realized that there were at least 2 other ministers in town that the same thing was happening to them.
None of the people who received the text fell for the scam, and if you have received a text like this, you need to call police.
The medical examiner ruling an Oklahoma County inmate's death is accidental. 48-year-old Tara Garcia was found dead on May 17th, less than 24 hours after she was booked. An autopsy report released today revealed Garcia died from the toxic effects of methamphetamine. It says she had needle puncture marks on her arm, and there was no lethal physical trauma on her body.
Lucky to be alive, that's what first responders are saying about the pilot who made an emergency landing in a wheat field just outside of Cushing this morning. We are told the pilot was searching for leaks in the pipeline when he had engine trouble. A representative from the airport says that field is full of holes and it is pure luck the plane's front wheel did not get stuck.
Right now, police in Newata County are searching for a missing elderly man. A silver alert has been put out. Let's get his picture up there so you can see. Police, they are looking for Wesley Collins. He's 89 years old, was wearing dusty green shorts and a white t-shirt. Now, he was proven under medical physical disability. We also know that he was driving a silver 2010 Chevrolet Model 300, Oklahoma license plates CRC 744. He has the beginning stages of dementia and hearing aids, but does not have them with him, so he may have a hard time hearing. If you have any information about where he might be, you are asked to call the Newata County Sheriff's Office. That number there is on the bottom of your screen. We will continue to follow this story for you as it develops here at the Live Desk.
Now, your Fox 25 Storm Watch forecast from the Reynolds Ford Weather Center.
Been quite dry recently. We have not received very much rainfall at all in central Oklahoma over the past several weeks, but a couple sprinkles possible into the panhandle tonight from some weakening showers. Those rain showers not going to move any further to the east than this, and this might even be a little bit too optimistic. These showers now moving into parts of the far northwestern Oklahoma Panhandle to Boise City and Guyman. Maybe seeing a little lightning and thunder through about 12 o'clock. As we get later into the night, we'll see those temperatures cooling down into the low 60s. Very similar to what we saw early this morning. We had 61 degrees at Will Rogers World Airport. Should be into the mid 60s tomorrow morning, which is actually going to be 1 degree away from our early morning record set back 2004. Then after that, we're looking at a fairly mild afternoon, a lot cooler than average. Highs will be into the upper 80s. Temperatures going to cross the 90-degree mark over the weekend. Humidity will be cranking up too. We'll talk about that coming up.
Detectives are testing new DNA in Tulsa's oldest cold case. The DNA picked up from where Vida Woodson was brutally murdered back in 1973.
Amy Jensen with our sister station in Tulsa met with the victim's family about how they're coping.
Pictures, memories.
She made all of us an Easter dress one year.
And little notes.
Dear Marcia, when you get married and have twins, always come to my house for safety pins. Mother.
That's all Marcia Mongold really has left of her mother.
The phone rang and the bedroom light was still on. And we knew.
Mongold and her siblings were just children.
Like in school and stuff, you'd always do like Mother's Day stuff. That was always kind of hard.
When their mom was murdered.
46 years that this happened.
July 26th, 1973.
This day will not be forgotten.
Vida Woodson But to her loved ones, Susie was heading home from work.
She had car trouble and coasted down the hill.
Just 2 minutes from home, her 1958 Chevy Bel Air was found on the side of the road.
Broke the frame and the window over, so it'd take a lot of force to do that.
And then dumped her body in a wooded area just a few miles away.
Right where a posted sign is.
A place that was once peaceful, now a 46-year-old nightmare for the family.
It seems like yesterday.
The day will always be hard.
Just that it hasn't been completely solved.
Whoever murdered their mother is still out there.
A lot of her brothers and family and friends have gone to their grave not knowing her daughter.
But they know it's coming.
He's lived a life that he took from my mom.
So they've lived their lives in honor of their mother.
We'll never stop fighting for justice.
And will always cherish her memory.
And that was Amy Jensen reporting from Tulsa. The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with information on Woodson's murder to contact the Cold Case Task Force.
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford is working to lower prescription drug prices. He just introduced 2 new bills. One is called the Transparency for Pharmacists Act. The other would fix a loophole in Medicare that insurers are able to use to keep a higher share of profit from taxpayers. That bill would close the loophole and would give discounts to customers. Well, since it became legal last year, more than 1,600 medical marijuana dispensaries have been approved. And while it is an exciting boom for business owners, economists are warning that the bubble could burst. The state has given medical marijuana licenses to almost 154,000 patients. An economist from Oklahoma City University says it's only a matter of time before there are not enough patients to sustain the amount of shops.
As more people get into it, the potential profits get smaller. Right now, I don't think people are really accounting for the growth in sales stores, so they see it as this large market.
Dr. Jonathan Wilner believes the medical marijuana business could see a fate similar to the .com bubble and online shopping companies. He says if marijuana becomes legal nationally, big companies could step in, making it even harder for small businesses.
Oklahoma launching a new app to make the registration process even easier. The Gov2Go app allows you to renew registrations for cars, trucks, and boats. Then your new tags will be mailed to you. One Edmond mother tells us her family has 5 cars, and it can be difficult to remember to renew all those registrations. She says this new app will make it easier.
It's really not hard, but an app would just make things so much easier, just like they do, just like grocery shopping at Walmart and picking it up.
The app also has a reminder feature that can tell you when it's time to renew your registration.
The Trump administration will begin paying more than $14 billion to farmers hurt by the trade war with China. This is the second round of aid the administration will pay out. Farmers received about $10 billion last year. Starting Monday, farmers can begin to apply for aid and expect to receive a payment in mid to late August. The new round is based on how many acres a farmer has planted, and the rate will vary by county. House Democrats gathering on the Capitol steps to share what they've accomplished since reclaiming control of the House. Not on their list is the use of impeachment to evict President Donald Trump from office.
Fox 25's national reporter James Rosen shows us where the impeachment drive stands now.
From mainstream media, the verdict on the Mueller hearings was swift.
Mueller not making a lot of news.
Do I think there's going to be now a groundswell that's going to radically change the political dynamic on impeachment? I do not.
Was the ball advanced? No. Impeachment's over.
Dan Balls, a dean of the Beltway Press Corps, wrote in the Washington Post, the prospects for impeachment appear more remote. If anything, things could move in the opposite direction. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continued citing reasons why not to launch impeachment proceedings in the near term.
We have several considerations. It's about what information is there. And this isn't endless. This isn't endless. I understand that. But we have live cases in the courts.
Good morning, everyone.
After an event trumpeting the Democrats' first 200 days in control of the House, pro-impeachment rank and file steered clear of criticizing Pelosi, even as they remained unswerving in their goal.
The next step, in my view, ought to be a formal
impeachment inquiry.
So we're continuing our investigation. We're building the momentum and the facts.
The only option left for us either to allow him to continue to be above the law, the president, or to take the actions that the Constitution provides for us.
More than 2 months have passed since Speaker Pelosi first said publicly she believes President Trump obstructed justice. But her unwillingness to follow through on that belief makes it more likely that the only way President Trump will be removed from office is through the ballot box. On Capitol Hill, James Rosen.
Temperatures will be cool again tomorrow morning. Record low certainly possible being in the mid-60s. Then that heat starts creeping back into the forecast. Heat and humidity coming up as well. There is a possibility of some showers in the next 7. We'll talk about when that may happen coming up.
House Democrats wanted the Mueller testimony to engage Americans in the report, pointing to possible obstruction of justice from Trump and his allies during the course of the special counsel investigation. What they got was 2 elongated and at times painful testimonies before the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees. Mueller stated previously multiple times that his report was his testimony, and during the course of his presence on Capitol Hill, he submitted that statement. The special counsel at times seemed agitated, unnerved, and bothered, but he never wavered on the facts of his report. He showed that though collusion between Russian officials and the Trump campaign was not found, there were clear obstruction instances. He followed up with the fact that his report did not exonerate President Trump of wrongdoing, and when pressed on this, referred back to the text of his report. All in all, Mueller's testimony frustrated both Democrats and Republicans in the chamber. In his opening statement, the special counsel said that he would be unable to address anything related to the cryptic Steele dossier. This was a huge blow for Republicans who wanted to blow the cap off the dossier and prove that it contained false information. The most pertinent parts of Mueller's testimony are things we'd heard before. This is not an exoneration, and President Trump could face indictment after leaving office. Let's get to the point. Mueller's testimony didn't clear up much of anything. He seemingly disappointed both sides for different reasons. The ball is once again in Congress's court.
Amisha, Robert Mueller's testimony was a knife to the heart of those crying for impeachment. Coming up, my thoughts on Mueller's recent trip to Capitol Hill.
The views expressed by commentators do not necessarily reflect the views of this station.
7 months into 2019, and there are likely close to 3,000 new cases of breast cancer in Oklahoma. The American Cancer Society also estimates 540 women in our state have died from the disease so far this year.
And that's why 2 metro companies have come together to raise awareness and raise money to fight breast cancer. Fox 25's Caroline Vandergriff has got your back with more on their unique effort.
You can't walk around Bricktown on the weekends without spotting horse-drawn carriages. Instead of just giving people rides, 2 competing carriage businesses have teamed up to give back. Watch out, Oklahoma City.
Here it is.
There's a new carriage in town.
Well, it's pink, so it shows up pretty easy here.
Pink wheels, pink leather seats, and even pink hoofs.
Just to bring awareness more to breast cancer.
Dwayne Sexton owns Cowboy Carriage, and his buddy Bradley Llewellyn runs Cameo Carriage.
We've been friends for several years.
They decided to join forces to help fight breast cancer.
All right, Pearl, step up. My mom had breast cancer. A good friend of mine now has breast cancer. They say she's in remission, and the whole world's been pretty good to me for the last few years. I thought, time to pay back.
They'll give free rides to breast cancer survivors, those who are still battling the disease, and their families.
It's very sad. It's very heartbreaking, you know, and we just try to do something to help make spirits a little better.
25% of the proceeds from the other rides in the pink carriage will be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. The carriage certainly turns heads.
It's a one of a kind, so everybody's just kind of like in an awe stage, and they think it's a great idea.
This duo hopes all the attention will bring in money for the cause.
Every little bit that we raise, I feel like it helps with the studies to maybe someday cure it.
Getting one step closer to a world without breast cancer. You can catch a ride on the breast cancer awareness carriage this weekend. It will be in Bricktown starting at 7:30 Saturday night. Again, those who are currently fighting breast cancer, survivors, and their family members all ride free. I'm Caroline Vandergriff, Fox 25 News.
And the carriage owners are looking for sponsors to help cover the costs of the custom-built carriage. Fuel, feed, and time taken to provide those free rides in downtown OKC. This is a look at Bricktown for you. A portion of the sponsorship fees will be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. If you are interested, we've got their contact information on our website at okcfox.com.
Air in place is pretty dry for this time of the year, so we've got big swings in the temperatures. Early morning, we were into the 60s, low 60s, made it up into the 80s, so the big difference in those early morning lows and highs on these drier days. We'll still make it into the 60s after our very warm high today. 87 certainly is warm. It's not quite up to average levels, but hey, I don't think anybody is going to say 87 is cold. It is cooler than average. Average high is about 95 degrees, and this yet the fourth day in a row with those below average temperatures after we hit 100 degrees on Sunday, and this really going to be the case again tomorrow. Similar levels of cool in the overnight hours. Tonight we'll get down to the 60s, mostly clear skies. There are a few showers across extreme western Oklahoma up into the Panhandle and southern Kansas, but these showers, they're really dissipating, not expecting them to be a big deal. Maybe a sprinkle here, then for most of us, it's just going to be another dry day. Sunshine, the big story for tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be a little warmer into the afternoon, maybe by a degree or two, approaching that 90-degree mark. Splash pad going to be the place to be, but still, without that humidity, it doesn't feel all that sticky and hot. But that's going to be changing. By the time we get into the weekend, heat and humidity going to be getting higher and higher. By Sunday, I think that's really getting into that high category, feeling oppressive yet again as those numbers in the heat index values approach 100. Not going to make it up to 100 though in the next several days. However, next week that heat likely to build up even further, and we could be seeing some potential for temperatures near that 100-degree mark. But next couple days still under the influence of that nice cool flow out of the north, keeping that below average temperature in effect. Again, that's just the next couple days. Back up into the 90s over the weekend and well up into the upper 90s next week. Now, there's a cold front that's going to be in the vicinity early next week on Monday. Don't think it's going to actually bring us much in the way of rainfall, but it does perhaps help to keep those temperatures down just a touch for Tuesday and a Wednesday, but that heat comes right back near 100, as I say, by Thursday.
For many parents, the back-to-school season is the most stressful time of year. That is according to a new OnePoll study looking at moms and dads with kids between 5 and 18. Researchers say there's a lot keeping parents up at night. Top worries include whether their kid will get a good teacher, how expensive all the back-to-school items are going to be, and if their child's overall safety is where it needs to be while they're away from home. The study also found it takes the average parent more than 2 weeks to finally calm down after school starts.
Nike is announcing a new sneaker line, and it's SpongeBob SquarePants themed. Take a look. The shoe company is collaborating with NBA star Kyrie Irving to bring Bikini Bottom to the basketball court. The line features characters from one of Irving's favorite TV shows, using color schemes and symbols to represent SpongeBob and his friends, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, and Mr. Krabs. The whole collection will be surfacing in select stores and online starting August 10th.
The Tokyo Summer Olympic Organizing Committee unveiling the design for the new medals. Check it out. They are made from 78,000 tons of recycled electronics, including over 6 million old cell phones. The Tokyo 2020 Medal Project collected the devices for 2 years. It's estimated that about 5,000 medals are going to be given out. The 2020 Summer Olympic Games will take place from July 24th to August 9th.
And don't forget that we've got your latest news, traffic, and weather every morning. Start your day with Chris Stanford and Jasmine Anderson from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Good Day OK.